There seems to be an unspoken agreement on the importance of fresh water. Put quite simply, water is needed for the survival of practically every living species on Earth, and then some. But fresh water is only part of the story. Ecosystems are the interactions between organisms and their environment. More specifically, freshwater ecosystems are just a fraction of Earth's aquatic ecosystems. They include lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, springs, wetlands, and even watersheds, the areas of land that separate water flows but affect their surrounding freshwater ecosystems just as vitally. Freshwater ecosystems contribute to and provide a myriad of vitality to human life, including economic stability, and plant and animal habitats. When functioning in good health, this type of ecosystem is a natural flood control service provided specifically by wetland regions, traditionally misjudged as wastelands and useless swamps, retorts an article published in the 2003 Issues in Ecology Journal by Jill S. Barron et al., called Sustaining Healthy Freshwater Ecosystems, when mentioning the history of the inefficient water management projects of South Florida in the 1990s. Freshwater ecosystems are also home to naturally occurring purification systems, which, as living organisms biochemically decompose dead organic matter in lakes, ponds, and the like, can contribute to the water purification of human and industrial wastes when waste is at a sustainable level. Of course, freshwater ecosystems are also an important means for transportation and recreation, along with fish and other food production. Lastly, freshwater ecosystems are essential providers of plant and animal habitats. So, what makes up a natural freshwater ecosystem? There are 5 main contributors indispensable to the functioning and balance of freshwater ecosystems. Flow patterns are the foundational aspect for healthy functioning freshwater ecosystems. They tell us circulation paths of rainfall and snow, or precipitation in general, at what rate they come, and how long the water will stay in that ecosystem. Flow patterns are important because they regulate biological productivity and help evaluate the overall integrity of freshwater ecosystems. When an ecosystem isn't healthy, it will be plainly evident through the observations of the balance of flow patterns. Other aspects of what makes up a natural freshwater ecosystem include sediment and organic matter inputs, temperature and light characteristics, chemical and nutrient conditions, and plant and animal assemblage. When all of these factors are in check and balanced for each individual freshwater ecosystem, short and long-term sustainability and adaptive capacity, all things that are necessary to coexist with the human activities, align, and freshwater ecosystems can be classified as truly healthy. Human activity, not surprisingly, has been the primary influence on the degrading health of freshwater ecosystems. Due to excessive use of water and in turn the pervasiveness of poor water quality by industrialization and human growth, there has been a disruption of water movement through the biosphere, likely due to the neglect to consider where their clean water is coming from or the amount and regulation of wastewater produced. And because of all of this human-induced imbalance in the freshwater ecosystems, freshwater plant and animal species are in more danger compared to other species in different ecosystems. Classifying freshwater ecosystems as healthy starts by looking at how all freshwater ecosystems vary in dynamics, the type of ecosystem, their location, and their climate. Also, all require a certain range of quality and quantity of function in life. Natural variation and disturbance is essential to maintaining viability or resilience, but within healthy limits and balances. For example, seasonal variation and water flow supports plant and animal communities and their production and survival. Variability in timing and rate influence size and commonality of species and whether or not some are highly specialized, their interactions with each other, their environment, and the overall ecosystem processes. Periodic and episodic water flow influence quality, physical habitat conditions and connections, and energy sources. One more aspect of freshwater ecosystems that helps determine whether or not it's healthy are watersheds. Watersheds link water ecosystems to create an interconnected hydraulic system and ultimately means land materials also contribute to the functioning and health of water ecosystems. It's important to have a clear picture of what freshwater ecosystems were like before human domination of U.S. land and what has changed since then. This table shows different ecological freshwater resources and activity from before the establishment of the United States and the conditions of them in recent decades. More updated condition results are necessary for keeping up to date on the current conditions and factors resulting in those conditions. The information leading up to this point shows what was and what is of freshwater ecosystems on Earth. It's clear fresh water is vital for life. It should now be clear that healthy, functioning freshwater ecosystems are essential for fresh water to stay clean and viable. The authors of an article from the 2003 journal, Issues in Ecology, emphasized the crucial aspect of successfully restoring freshwater ecosystems. They said, "The challenge is to determine how society can extract the water resources it needs while protecting the important natural complexity and adaptive capacity of freshwater ecosystems." Education and open-mindedness to change societal habits in the name of environmental health and sustainability for all living things on Earth may seem like a broader restoration concept, but it is the most essential beginning point into creating the proper programs, policies, and outlooks on a short-term and long-term vision for the future. Tapping into the who and how of where restoration can start, we recognize there must be more cross-disciplinary education and collaboration between specific experts. For example, hydrologists, engineers, and water managers ought to know more about the ecological consequences of management policies. Ecologists, in turn, ought to be trained to consider roles of water in human society or to understand the institutions that manage water. Economists, developers, and politicians ought to look further into the future when creating policies. And finally, the general public ought to learn and be aware of how we get our pure water or how the wastewater management system works. The educating and cross-disciplinary collaboration of all could lead to the success of incorporating more naturally functioning healthy ecosystems into the human world, or rather, incorporating human ecospheres into the sustainable life cycle of healthy freshwater ecosystems for a mutualistic coexistence. After obtaining the help and education of the previously mentioned groups, it is then that the implementation of refined management policies can exist. The refining of management policies must be a mutually collaborative effort by politicians, economists, farmers, architects, protection agencies, and many more to ensure all aspects of sustainability, human, environmental, and economic health are being taken into thoughtful consideration.